It didn't want to stop.
It's like rocking.
It's still going. Oh, you know
Oh my
something? Want
God.
to stop? There we go. Hold on a minute. There it goes. Okay. Everything's going crazy tonight. I don't know. I don't know. Was the full moons from the weekend? What?
Full moon.
It's a
Yesterday.
wolf moon tonight. Like the wolf
Yes,
Huh?
moon.
the wolf
It was
Mhm.
so.
moon.
I mean, I don't know if that's just driving things crazy. I mean, before the show, I got knocked off a couple times. I'm trying to get things in the audience. I'm like, come on. So I don't know. Well,
Come
welcome to the
on.
show, everybody. How you
Welcome.
Hi.
doing? How you doing? The show is gonna be great tonight, like always.
Mhm.
And you know, we're gonna have a good time. Definitely, we have a great guest, and I just want to find out this weekend. I know I had a great time. We had a paranormal brunch, pretty much. I Jen.
We
And
did. We did.
yeah, we went. It was a lot of people there. Of course, Ron and Lourdes were there, and Richard Marcella, and we missed Kimm, but she couldn't. She was away. And we missed
Traveling.
her. We cried. We all got around singing "Kumbaya" and cried for her. But she came back. Here she is, and it was a great. You want to name some of the people who are there because I can't remember everybody. Jen.
Sure. Full moon paranormal. We had Lisa, Nicole, Susan, and Anne Marie was there.
Mm-hmm.
And who else was there? Well, it was Sandra
I was gonna say you
Robert
got to talk
Bandoff
about
who were
your
the
wonderful
hosts. We
host.
The
forgot the
host,
Yeah,
hosts,
yeah,
the Bandoffs.
the
beautiful
hostesses
home.
with the
They live in an
mostesses.
amazing home. And it was really beautiful day. Beautiful day.
Yeah,
Lots of
it was
food.
great. A lot of
Food, laughing,
yeah, we had a
more
great
laughing.
time. It was he. They have a beautiful home. Really, I looked at that. I'm like, this looks like one of those great B&B type of places and stuff. It's a
Yeah.
log cabin. It's up in the woods,
Oh
and
Beautiful.
wow.
he
Yes.
had the fire thing going in front of the house, and his bar was outside. We're all drinking in front of the bar, freezing. He has tap beer, German beers, and stuff like that. I'm like, this is great. I don't want to go home.
When I got there,
Yeah, it's so
Anthony's
nice
like,
of
I'm
them.
3 beers into it, Jenny. I was
Yeah,
like, all
I was three
Okay.
beers in. He
right.
gave me this German beers, dark beer. And they were going down like water, and I was freezing.
Yep.
I'm like out there freezing. It was like I'm not leaving the bar, you know. So it was
And we
great.
had cannoli.
Cannolis, yeah.
Oh wow.
I bought
Well,
20
that
cannolis. She didn't even open the box before the cannolis were being eaten.
And I ate 15.
Yeah, that's good. I brought
an
them for everybody
honorary
to enjoy.
15.
Brought them for
Oh,
anybody to enjoy.
well, you're
You know.
But
making me even more miss that
Yeah.
trip there.
no,
It
but
was
you
so
had a
nice
good
of them to
time.
open up their
You
home
had a
to
great
all of
time,
us.
did Kim?
I
You
did,
went
yeah.
to some retreat. That sounded cool. Very
Yeah,
cool.
I was in Arizona. I was on a retreat with Eckhart Tolle. He was doing a weekend retreat. He's the author of The Power of Now. So it was very inspirational, and I was so glad I got to be in present with him. Yeah, so that was
That's
great.
awesome.
Oh,
Kyle and I both went. Yep.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
so cool.
You finally brought Kyle.
I finally brought Kyle. Yeah.
Yes.
I know. We miss him, don't we? Yeah.
Yeah, Kyle. He's one guy who's like, he's always following you around with a camera,
I
and it's like
know. He's the
he's
best.
always part of us. And it's like, where's Kyle? When he does the
Yeah, he's my
show, we're
better
like,
half for
where is
sure.
he? Is he okay? We're
I
more
know we
concerned
miss
Yeah.
about
him.
him not showing. You know that. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
We love
We
Kyle.
love him.
Yeah,
Kyle's
he's
Kim's
bigger.
husband.
Yeah, so well,
Cool.
we got great guests tonight, and
Great guess.
Jenny, you
Mhm.
want to talk about what we're going to be talking about, or you want to talk about what we're going to be talking about?
I'm not sure. Let me think about it. A
The
little
options.
crazy.
Yeah,
Well, so we met these guests, Anthony and I, and Kimm, all three of us met. I don't know if you met them before at the Hollow, the event, the Hollow, but I think we all met them at the Hollow. Is that correct?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes, we
Okay.
yeah.
did. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we all met them at a
A
para
cool
event
event.
called the Hollow near us in New Jersey, and they are from Nine Lives Paranormal, which a cat lover like me, gotta love that name. Um, they are Kara Salento and Gail Gamble. and they have become friends of ours and investigating partners of ours. We really respect them, and we're happy to have them tonight to talk about one of their a location that's near and dear to them, also in New Jersey. So let's bring them on.
Yeah.
You guys are
Okay.
gonna love them.
Yeah. Hey, let me bring him on. Okay.
Hi,
Hey, here they are.
Hey.
Gail. Hi, Kara.
Hi
How you doing?
guys, with the matching sweatshirts. I can't
I
even.
love it.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
can't.
I was showing them this too. Remember? Scooby Doo.
Scooby
I
Doo.
Lunchbox. Scooby Doo lunchbox. Hey, everything
I love
Scooby Doo.
it.
Remember this? Scooby Doo was one of our first investigators that we used to watch on TV.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah. I was talking about this once on a podcast. It's like the Scooby Doo stuff with like the flower and the footprints trying to capture the ghost, kind of
Yes.
thing. I do that stuff still. I learned
That's
it
where I
on
learned all
Scooby-Doo.
my investigation skills from. Scooby Doo.
I have a sign in my office that says "Let's split up, gang." I love it.
Was it those miserable kids? What was they saying?
Meddling kids.
Those meddling kids. Yeah,
Who was your favorite?
I have to say Velma only because my son says that with the glasses and my hair like this, even though it's not done right now, but my hair, I look like Velma. So
Okay.
Okay.
he tells me I
All
look
right,
like
I see it.
Velma.
All right.
Oh, Scooby, 100%. Because growing up, my family always had Great Danes, and Scooby's a Great Dane.
Oh,
Scooby.
Oh,
how
cool.
cool!
Yeah,
That's
my
so cool.
father had different
Great
names for me,
Dane.
but
Yeah.
I can't say it on the air.
We love our animals on this show, and Kim's
Oh,
a veterinarian,
we
you should know.
do.
So we do love our
We do
animals.
love our animals.
It's a,
Yeah.
so we're here. Oh, first, how did you guys get into investigating? That's the first question that has to be asked. How
Yeah.
you guys get into all this stuff?
Yeah, let's hash into it.
Okay, so with me personally, I grew up in a house that was pretty much steeped in Italian folk magic and folklore. And as I grew older and I started to research my roots or whatever, I found out how much of it was embedded in more of the like pagan religions in the beginning, before Christianity hit Italy.
Mhm.
And from there, it sort of just transformed into all things that were a little bit more esoteric. And as I got older, I started to do a deep dive into paranormal phenomenon, and which led me on investigations, and that's how I got to where I am now.
So, yeah.
Wow.
Next.
For Italian steeped in folklore, not everybody sleeps with a rag under their pillow.
Yeah. I would say things like,
Yeah, I was like, can we go back to the folklore? Can we go back to
Can
that?
we start over?
I would like a little bit more detail on this folklore.
So, come on, Anthony, help me out.
Well, were you kidding? I'd be talking if I talked about spirits. Because I started doing this back in the '60s, '70s. When you heard my father would be like, "Stugats,
Yes, to God, yeah.
Stugats." You know,
Oh
what?
my
What's it?
God.
Don't be a mama Luke. Don't tell nobody.
Yeah, it's my business. You don't talk about my business.
Yeah, nothing outside the house. You could believe my mother believed me, my grandmother and stuff, but the men were like, and they said, we believe you, but don't talk outside the family.
Yes.
That's exactly how it is. So, like I would say, like Gail was making fun of me because I would say things like, "You mean not everybody drives with a red hot pepper hanging from their dashboard
Yeah, I know.
in their car, and nobody walks over their shoulder or steps on a fork,
Oh.
or does things, and
Nope.
I tell.
It's a yeah.
Go ahead.
No, like you said, if a fork falls on the floor, it's a woman. If a spoon falls on the floor, it's a man.
Yeah,
Everything was like superstitious, and somebody's coming, or somebody
like a
ringing a certain way. Yeah.
Yeah,
like
I
if
love
a spoon
it. I love
falls
it.
off of a table. For example, if a spoon falls off a table, it's a male spirit that did that.
No. A male's coming to visit.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
There's gonna be a
I got
man
you.
coming, and it's more like not spirits, but more spiritual.
Yes.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
You know, like everybody was a psychic, but nobody wanted to admit it.
Exactly. And
I
like
see.
growing up even more, like, you know, my mother, and I don't know about you, Anthony, my mother used to talk, like if my mother found money in the house or something like that, she would say, oh, it came from the Scuzamario. And the Scuzamario, when you look it up, now that's the Italian way of saying it. I would not be able to say it in the actual traditional Italian because it's something I probably wouldn't even remember it. But anyway, the Scuzamario is almost like an elemental gnome that came out of the fireplace. So when culturally, like when you go to
I love this.
we all have like, you know, pictures of our family all over the house and things like that. And traditionally on the south side of the house in Italy, there would be the pictures over the mantelpiece, over the hearth, because that was the center of the house. And the Scuzamario was the elemental that came through the fireplace that would be like the home protector. So when my mother would say, you know, like if she was doing laundry and she found like a $5 bill in somebody's pocket, she would say, oh, it came from the Scuzamario. So jokingly, my mother,
I love it.
so my mother growing up, you know, I went to a Catholic school and I went to an Irish Catholic school. So my mother would say to me, oh, you know, because I was St. Patrick's Day, she would say to me, she would discount it. She would be like, she goes, you got the Scuzamario. You know, so instead of the leprechaun, she would say, you got the Scuzamario.
Okay.
Living in
Same
your house.
idea. Same idea.
Well, in Queens, we didn't have too many chimneys and fireplaces. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Brooklyn, Queens, there's not too many of those. So,
No.
you know, so if we find money, it's
Santa.
like, you know.
No Santa. He was like, hey, I'm at the front
Yeah,
door.
well, if we find money, it was always because of his spirit, leaving it behind, you know. And to this day, I was like, if I think of my mother, I find quarters.
Oh, that's cool.
And I know other people, like I have a friend that every time he finds a dime, he says it's from his mother every time. It's pretty cool. You know, it's like that. So, and I always kid him. I was like, yeah, my mother gives me quarters. That one gives you dimes. My mother loves me more.
My mother my mother gave me agita, Anthony.
Yeah. Well, that was, you know, my mom's not with me no more. So it's like, you know, the agitas are, but, you know, bring the money. Come on.
Yeah, but you'll take.
I got a jar. I got a
money.
jar of when I went to her house after she passed, and we're finding quarters all over the place. And I got a jar, like, you know, those pretzel type of things you buy at the industrial pretzels,
right?
You know, in the jar.
Yeah.
I got a jar of that full of quarters.
Oh wow!
That's how many quarters we found.
Wow.
And then to this day, we find quarters and stuff. We haven't changed, you know, cashed it in. You know, it can feel funny. It's like, well, I'm leaving out. Yeah, I don't want to do that.
No.
The guy's starving the street with a jar of coins, but I won't change it in, you know.
Right. Yeah, but those are special.
They're special.
Kara, you don't have that? You don't have that? Kara, you didn't grow up with that?
What, the quarters?
I mean, I'm sorry, Gail, you didn't grow up with that?
No.
Gail, you didn't grow up with that kind of thing? Neither did I.
We're the, you know, not
Gambino.
Not Gambino, just little gamble. But what I did grow up with is I'm from Missouri. Moved here about 5 years ago, and the Missouri Ozarks are steeped in folklore. So we grew up. It was like a rite of passage. Y'all piled in the car and you drove to this little tiny town just outside Joplin called Hornet, Missouri. I think population was like 23. And there's this long, dark road, and it was the Hornet Spook Light. So this light would appear at the end of the road, and everybody would go out to see it. I mean, my mom went when she was in high school. We all went. They even had the Army Corps of Engineers out to try to figure out what this light was.
Wow.
Figure it out. So that's what I grew up doing. And then we have Missouri.
I remember that legend. I think I seen it on TV.
Huh?
I think I seen that on TV about the light at the end of the road. Yeah.
They have these ghost lights, and nobody can figure out what they are.
Yeah.
We have Missouri Howler, which is like our Bigfoot. So we were all running around in the woods, knocking on trees when I was a kid. And then my brother and I would go to this old abandoned cemetery called Peace Church Cemetery, where one of the stones was supposed to glow at night, and we'd take pictures. I mean, we were doing this stuff from the time I was young. And then my grandmother all about paranormal stuff. She introduced me to Edgar Allan Poe,
I love Edgar Allan Poe.
taught me The Raven, and
Woo!
my first scary movie.
Your heart.
Don't take her to go see Poltergeist, Mom. Do not take her to go. And she loads up her purse with candy, and off we go to see Poltergeist.
Love it.
That's how
Trauma.
Coolest
Early
grandma
trauma.
ever.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
very
so.
cool.
Coolest
That's what I'm gonna do with my
grandma
grandson.
ever. Oh,
He's only a little
Oh,
guy
yeah.
right now, but yeah. I'm
Oh,
already. I babysit him, and I watch the paranormal shows. You know, the ghost hunting shows and stuff. And I'm like watching that, and he's like, you know, it's
I
like,
love it. You're like, someday,
yeah, oh
you
yeah.
and me.
He's gonna inherit all my equipment. This whole room.
I
I
love
got a
it.
whole room of equipment in here right now. So
So
that's my
basically,
estate.
basically, your paranormal investigating has it's just been with you the whole time. Like it's just natural now at this point to kind of seek out what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I'm not to go back to growing up, but I live in my childhood home, right?
Mhm.
And I grew up 1 mile down the road from the old abandoned Overbrook Cemetery, Overbrook Asylum. So
Wow. Yeah.
growing up, it was like that was like the thing, you
The
know.
playground.
The Overbrook Asylum is haunted. You know, we would go and we would into the tunnels, and so we were doing all those things, and we grew up in that culture of urban exploring, and you know, with all the stories of Overbrook. You know, from when I was little, like I remember when I was growing up, it was still a functioning place. So if one of the if one of the residents did not come back, they would let some of the higher level non-dangerous, you know, residents go out like and walk around the community. And if one escaped or they did not come back at their time, they would set off. It sounded like one of the bomb signals, like the woo sirens, like woo.
Oh,
You know, and so that way did you like that? I can do that sound again for you whenever you want. We
sound effects.
they would set it off.
Stick it out the window of the car when you do that. Woo!
Yeah, if I'm in a rush, you know.
Nobody's in your way. Woo!
Everyone will move out of my way.
It's like an air raid. My goodness.
Yeah, it was like that. So everybody knew that, you know, like be on the lookout that somebody, you know, is you know, somebody's in the community that's past 5 o'clock or 5:30. You know, that they should be accounted for, and they're not. And then when they started closing it down, and right now it's not there anymore. Obviously, they made it into condominiums, which that's a whole other story. But both my kids, who are now 19, when they were 2 and 3 years old, they had a daycare on the premises for the people that worked at the asylum, and then they opened it up to any state worker. And because I'm a teacher, my kids actually went to preschool and daycare on the property of the Overbrook Asylum until that was closed down.
Whoa.
Nice.
So yeah, that's
I've
interesting.
been there.
I'm sorry.
I've been there since the
best
condominiums
clarification.
have been put in,
Mhm.
and they have just like
Oh.
yes, I did a walkthrough. There's like that dirt trail that kind of goes next to
Yes.
it. Yes. And there's still some benches, like some like chess tables and benches. And I'm going to tell you, whew, it is spicy out there. But what I did some,
Go ahead.
yeah, go ahead. I did some research that was like looking at, I don't know, just some stories of the area. And I couldn't tell you how many newspaper articles that were about people who had escaped or were missing, or like missing children in the area, like a lot. So, wow, that's wild. You grew up in that area.
Yeah. I got her for Christmas. I got her a metal detector, and we're going to go up on those trails. Like when it starts to get,
see what we can find.
So cool.
Fine. We're gonna go up there. And I just found out, one of my friends that's a physical therapist in the area told me that not in our side, but in one of the neighboring towns, there's cell towers, and it says, like trespassing, do not trespassing, because it's cell towers.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, it's blocking off the remnants of the tunnels. But that's in one of the neighboring towns, so I have to find.
Wow.
Trust
Yeah.
and believe, find that interest, we're going to be down there in those tunnels without a doubt. So
You know where we are.
we're in those tunnels. So.
Yeah.
If you don't come
You know what
back,
I
we'll
love?
find you.
I know. We'll put out a siren that you're
Yeah.
lost.
Yeah, then you'll have the siren. You'll hear me. Woo!
Yeah. We'll be like,
Well, if you
Karen
guys don't come
Gale,
back, we got
lost.
somewhere to investigate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll find you.
No.
Is-
No.
Notorious that we actually ended up being on a series called My Haunted Hometown.
Mhm.
It'll air here. It's filmed out of Canada. So they came from Canada and they went to different places and they came here to Cedar Grove and filmed in our house. And so we're on an episode of My Haunted Hometown, which will air here in the United States on Discovery Plus in the spring. And
Awesome.
it's Overbrook.
Nice.
Tell us
That's
when
awesome.
we'll air. We'll say
Oh
something
my
on the air
gosh.
for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
congratulations. What's the
Yeah.
episode called? Do you know?
It's called
Tortured Spirits.
Yes, Tortured Spirits.
Awesome.
Tortured Spirits. Well, that's easy to remember.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
That
And I
is
love
awesome.
that going back to what you said before, I love that you got a metal detector and that you're thinking of it as paranormal equipment.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, because not many teams like have a
Mhm.
metal detector on board. I have one, but
I got
I've
one.
noticed that not many people do. But do you use it in investigations?
Do you
No,
use it,
I
Anthony?
well, I got one because
Yeah, but do you
one year I
use
bought it
it?
for my son for me and my son to do a hobby, and that was like
Yeah.
5 years ago.
Right, but not as part of your
Never been
paranormal
used.
kit.
No, but it's
But it's
pretty,
cool. Why not?
Yeah,
Yeah,
why not?
it's not a good idea.
You learn about the history. Plus, if you find anything good, you can use it as a trigger object, right?
Yeah, it's awesome.
I agree.
That's a great
I
idea.
agree.
You know.
Oh, old Nick. At the state.
People used
Oh,
to
really?
asylum. Old Nick.
I love it.
Wow. Yeah,
Hung
their
out at the state
asylums
mental
are.
asylum.
Yeah,
I love silence.
Yeah.
My favorite right
Silence
now
are-
is Trans Allegheny.
they're
Trans Allegheny Lunatic
not
Asylum.
for
That's my
beginners.
favorite.
No, they're not for beginners.
No, they're not for beginners.
No.
Yeah.
Unless they don't want to be back, they just want a thrill. They
Yeah.
want to be back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just talking to somebody the other day also in the field, and I said the thing about asylums is that the residents there have all varying degrees of capabilities and abilities. So when you're working in an asylum, you have to, in a way, meet them where they're at.
Mhm.
It's like you can't go in there and expect the same kind of interactions that you would expect in a house or a
Mhm.
prison. Your interaction is going to be much different if you're in a place where it's people are struggling with mental illness, or they're on a functioning level that's much younger than what their chronological age is. You
Mhm.
have to approach it in such way with sensitivity.
Right.
You're not gonna
Mhm.
so in terms of skill, you're dealing not only with trauma, but you're also dealing with various levels of communication expectation. So
Mhm.
it's much different, much different.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
When you're right
Exactly.
with that, and you have to be careful too because you could be attacked without them thinking they're being attacked. So yeah, I had things. Trans Allegheny had stuff tossed at me, and I got it on camera. They seen the footage, so it's pretty cool.
That's my
Yeah.
Tasmania is my bucket list. I want to get
Yeah.
there.
I caught it because I had a camera and I body cams. I'm a body cam person.
Mhm.
I'm all over my body, and
Yes, he
it
is.
didn't catch it on the camera up here, but it caught on the body cam as it after it hit me, it hit me and then come back down. So
Oh wow.
Right.
yeah. So yeah, I love
Yeah.
that. I love those things. So
No, but you bring up really good points though. You don't know, I actually watched a program recently where someone was in an asylum trying to communicate with someone who had
Mhm.
dissociative identity disorder. So, he's trying to use one name, but perhaps you're not speaking with that
Right.
You're right.
person, that
Mhm.
personality. So you always have to be really sensitive to the residents there
Mhm.
Right.
and what, look at things through their eyes,
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
we're here tonight to talk about a location.
Mhm.
We
You want to bring that
are.
up now? Because we keep on this, we're going
Yeah.
to run out of show, and then
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, on this show, we usually do pick one location because we're a history show and a paranormal show. So we like to talk a little bit about the history of a location. And I thought this would be a good one because both Kim and I had been there
Yes. Yes.
with you.
Yeah.
And because you think about it day and night, don't you guys?
Yes. It is. It occupies pretty much all of my waking days. It really does.
I thought so.
So yeah, do you want me to introduce it? Want us to
You do it.
Sure.
Yes, you're the
Yeah.
guest. Absolutely.
Okay, so the location is a antique shop called Times Tin Cup in Denville, New Jersey. It's at 27 Diamond Spring Road. If anyone wants to check it out, and the location itself is very interesting. It's an old home that they used to say fabled that it was a parsonage, but Kim, we found out that it really was not pretty much a parsonage, right? It was next to a parsonage.
Not
So
a parsonage. Yeah.
the oral tradition, it does not match what people have, what actually is being shown on maps. The
Shocker.
parsonage they refer to is actually down the street at 77 Diamond Spring Road. So the actual 27 Diamond Spring Road continues to be a little bit of a mystery. What we do know is that it used to be a toy shop,
And a beauty salon.
and a beauty salon, which it did look like when we first went in. This had the mirrored walls, and I've seen pictures of it. It has a history of, I guess you could say, for gathering people in terms of the hair salon and the toy shop and people passing through. But what's really interesting about it is not only its history, but that it is an antique shop. It seems to be a collector of energies that really cannot be singularly attributed to one thing, whether it's location or item. It can't. I can say that every floor in the house has a different personality. So there's a basement, there's a middle floor, there's an upstairs that has all items for purchase, and then there's the attic and the basement do not. And each floor of the house definitely has a different personality and definitely communicates more frequently in a different way. So, for example, the middle floor likes EMF detectors, whereas the upstairs floor, excuse me, the upstairs floor seems more attainable to other ITC and even dowsing rods, phasma, other types of equipment. So it's a pretty interesting place.
So I'll tell about how we found this wonderful place. So, Karen and I, early on in starting Nine Lives Paranormal, we decided that instead of taking people to the same places that people go, and they're all great places, but we wanted to try something new. So Karen gets on her computer and she's Googling, haunted antique stores today. And I don't even know, this one didn't even come up.
No,
but we were driving around and she saw this place and she's like, we've got to go in there and see if they'll let us do some type of event. So we just made a cold call on poor Laurel and we crashed her shop and said, hey, we're Nine Lives Paranormal. And luckily she was very receptive to what we were doing and seemed very excited about it. So, fast forward, we held our first event there and had no idea what was going to happen, but we knew we were drawn to the place, and it seems like spirits are also drawn to the place, and we got a lot of activity, and we got the name Minnie. Well, it just so happens that somebody who was there said, oh, Minnie Sheps used to live in back of this place. Her house was in back, and she left her house to the state under the pretense that it would not be torn down. And of course, the state promptly tore it down. So maybe Minnie is here. And we went, okay, well, maybe she's come over to hang out here, because then we found out as we got into the narrative that she actually had her hair done there. It was her beauty shop. So it was starting to make more sense that Minnie would come and be drawn to this place. Then fast forward a few months, Minnie's relatives came in out of nowhere and with her longings for antiques to give to Laurel to sell in the shop.
On consignment.
On consignment. So full circle.
Oh,
Yeah. Whoa, it's right. That's what I was like, oh my God, it's come full circle. Minnie
I love it.
did that. Minnie wanted to be in the shop, and she wanted her things to be in the shop with her. Of that I have no.
Yeah.
Right.
And what's the coolest thing about
That's
Minnie?
amazing.
What's the cool what?
What's the coolest thing about Minnie? That she
About Minnie is that she was a centenarian. She lived to be 100 years old. So
Yeah.
she's like a Denville celebrity.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
She was a Denville celebrity because her
Wow.
now her family did come over. They did come over through Salem, right? They were in Salem, Massachusetts, where we all know Salem, Massachusetts, and they made their way down to Denville. So
Cool.
so she saw Denville through 100 years of history, from when there were even before cars, and she was a pistol. She drove, she drove when women really didn't drive, so she really made a lasting impression on the Denville community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And since we've been there, a few more personalities have come through now. Maybe because of the history of the place, we're not quite sure how they fit in, but we do get a lot of religious talk that comes through. We do get some childlike nature-y stuff that comes through. So and we're still trying to really piece it all together on how it relates. But
Well, you're an antique shop, so it could be brought in with anything you have there.
exactly.
Especially religious objects. If you notice, a lot of the antique shops, that's one of the main things I have. It's old religious objects, from crosses to whatever, little altars, whatever. So even and not only just Catholic religion, other religions too, other stuff end up at the antique shops. And energy does stick with certain items. So it's a possibility that they came along with those items. An antique shop could be the best place to have all that attachment on the items, because some of those items have been around a long time. And people, when they get attached to an item, it's because it's something that they love. Like I always use the example, like a guy has a guitar all his life, and he's playing that guitar. That's his favorite piece of equipment. Then he passes away, and his kids sell it. His energy is going to still be with that guitar.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Speaking of, Anthony, there was a guitar there, a haunted guitar there. It's
Was
like
there?
you're a psychic. Yeah.
That's cool. Because
Sorry,
No, Anthony, you've seen this guitar. It was behind you at the
You've seen
Hollow.
it.
it was the
And
one
the one that
at the Hollow.
at the
flew
Hollow,
over when we were talking about it at the Hollow. Yeah.
I'm old. I forget things. You know what I'm saying?
I was talking to Kara, and it just kind of
Okay, yeah.
flipped over.
Yeah.
And she just didn't even get phased. She was just like, yeah, it does that. I was like, is that normal?
Okay, that you had that on the stage. Okay, I remember now. Yes,
Yeah,
I
and
talked
said,
about it
that
too.
guitar just flew over. Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember it on stage behind us.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's there.
So-
It's still there.
Yeah, and every male who saw that guitar, every single one, I had multiple, because it was behind me too.
Yes.
I had multiple people coming up to me, men, specifically men, being like, what's up with that? And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
how long you got?
Energy.
Do you really want to
exactly.
know? Yeah,
do you
it
know
was-
any
it was
history on that
really
guitar? Or
intense.
just,
Yeah, it's
They
still
know.
it's
You said the history of the guitar. You can tell them the
Oh,
history.
you can tell the history?
Yeah.
So the history of the guitar
Sure.
is that it came in on a consignment, and I walked into the shop, and Laurel, I could tell something was off in the shop, and because
Well, Laura likes to play this game with Kara called "Find the Newest Haunted Object in the Shop." Basically, like,
Ah,
do you feel something different in the shop? And Kara's like,
and
okay.
yeah,
okay.
hello, you know, she's like, I have to find
That's
it.
a fun game.
It's like she tests me, like if I can find it, you know. But anyway, so
Okay.
I definitely sensed that something was off, and she goes to the guitar and she picks it literally like it was nothing. She just, you know, she picks it up, she puts it in my hand, and she goes, "Here, tell me what you get with this." And Gail said it was like I glitched out, and she's like
More so than she usually does.
yeah, you know, I can glitch. I say it's because of
I'm gonna get some more.
go ahead, because of like menopause or stuff that I glitch out, but no, I glitched out, and I said, "Who died?" And I said to her, you know, but multiple people died. I said, "And what's going on with the child?" And she explained to me that the person who owned the guitar, the very first owner, took their own life over a love lost of a woman,
Oh, wow.
and he passed it on to his son, and that person took their own life over a woman
Oh,
themselves. So the owner, the aunt, who now after got the guitar off after the nephew passed away, said that they didn't want it anymore and they wanted to sell it on consignment. And so we had it cleansed, so it was safer to, you know, to be sold or whatever, because that's what Laurel was hired to do, was to put it on consignment. But like you were saying, Kim, it seems to attract men. Most men go up to it, and that's what they want. They ask about the guitar. Many inquiries about buying it, but no one has purchased it. It's still there.
really?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, every week she says, "Oh, I've got somebody who's going to buy it this time," and then for whatever reason, they don't. It's so strange.
They don't, and you know, and then it was very interesting because that day that we were at one day that we were at the shop, another psychic came in, and you know, Lee came in, and said that the guitar was attached to me. And he goes like this, "It's attached to you." And I was like, "Me?" I was like, "Me."
Oh, God, it's not mine.
It's not mine, right? And he said, no, it recognizes your energy.
Oh, okay.
And I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, there's a lot of depression and there's addiction associated with the guitar. And it's attracted to your energy." And nobody knew, not even Laurel knew, that my ex of 20 years was died of alcohol addiction.
Oh, I'm
And
sorry.
Sorry to hear.
so, you know, and so nobody knew, like you didn't even know, you know, like nobody knew, but
No, I'm just learning this now.
it exuded that energy, and he was able, and I explained, you know, when I picked it up, it, you know, Gail even told him that I glitched, and it said because it connected, it understood that pain, that trauma, that anguish, that, you know, of trying to, you know, work with an addict, you know, and it connected to you. And I was like, okay. I was like, I get you.
Makes sense. It
So
makes
the
sense.
energy of that guitar actually picked you.
Yeah.
To be a spokesperson, pretty much.
Right.
To, you know, bring back, you know, to make it known. You know, that's wild when an item, it actually picked you. You didn't pick it. It picked you.
Right.
That's
Wow.
interesting.
It was like, oh, this person gets it, you know, let me be my voice, you know.
Yes.
Right.
You know,
Right.
Interestingly enough, you said it picked her. Laura will tell you that the items in her shop pick the people. The people don't pick the items.
Yeah,
Which
Wow.
I kind of love. I
Mhm,
think
that's
that's
cool.
kind of neat
it
when
is.
she says
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
I
and,
like that very
That's
much.
true. It's true. The items pick you a
yeah,
lot of times
yeah,
because, like you said, it takes your energy. It's attracted to something that it relates. Whatever is with that item, it gets attracted to somebody that has something familiar. You might remind them of them, a
right,
girlfriend, or a
Right.
parent, or anything. So that's
Right.
why it stays with you, because whatever that's with that item has an attraction to that person because feels related or to that person in some sort of way.
right,
Right. It goes both
Yeah.
ways. Right.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Exactly. I
it's like a
agree.
resonance. So the guitar has a
Hmm.
resonance with your story and your
Yeah,
history, Gail.
that's
Not to say
interesting.
that it is in your future will be resonance,
Right.
but it
right,
does have some degree of resonance with the past and the history. And all of that is so readable on that guitar. I mean, items are all readable by
right.
psychometry and all that. And I'm going to tell you that story is so clearly readable on that guitar. I mean, I read it too, and it's not like that on every item. So it
Right.
brings up that idea of, sometimes there's residual stuff that's on an item, and then
Mhm.
sometimes there's a little extra with an item. So there can be a little more of a person's experience that is
Mhm.
left over in an item versus just like residual energy with it. So it's like residual, but when you talk about more attachments with it or haunt, whatever people want to use the words, it's like just a little bit more, almost. Yeah. So with
Mhm.
that, I completely agree on that guitar. It's pretty wild.
Yeah,
We have pictures of the inside of the place. I want to show some of those,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Definitely.
everybody has
Yeah.
an idea of what you're talking
Yeah.
about. And I think these are pictures. They're very small, so I'm just trying to figure out what's what.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. I took
Yeah.
these just inside just to give
You took
people an
these?
idea of what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of
That's
all the
A
different
lot of these.
antiques.
Oh wow,
And
yeah, there's a lot
Yeah.
of
I
stuff.
mean,
Yeah,
you can see you're just surrounded by stuff.
Oh, or
I like that computer down there. What's that? Like one of
yeah,
those.
that's
it's
an
an
old
antique.
Apple, I think 2E or whatever they called it when they first came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
remember when it
cool.
first. I remember when computers first came out when stuff like that was brought around. So
Yeah.
give away my
I,
age.
think,
So here,
I actually think the guitar
Anthony
is
used to
very
use like
close
a
to the
stone.
picture.
He used to carve on a stone. That's how old he is.
that's
Papyrus.
yeah.
Yeah.
You'll see me on old rocks and stuff. They go into like the
Yeah.
Egyptian temples and stuff. That's all
That's
my
right.
drawings.
Hieroglyphics. Yeah.
Hieroglyphics, pictorials.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. These big bells. They probably were on horses or something like that. Those horse bells.
I don't know if those look big. Maybe it's just the picture, but
I'm not sure what this is.
I got.
They
I'm
might
gonna
just be
old lady.
hanging on the door. Some people used to have those just
Yes.
hanging on the
Yeah.
door.
Yeah,
Those
old camera. This
on
is
the door
interesting.
because they're like they would look like bowling balls on a horse.
Oh.
They're big. They hang off the side of the exactly you see it there off the side of the shelf.
That's
But
wild.
yeah, but she's got stuff in there. She's got all sorts of you could see. Well,
They're
yes,
sleigh bells. They're sleigh
Yeah.
bells, according to Laurel,
yes.
who is
Okay.
in our audience.
And,
Oh, the old gas lamps up there. That was pretty cool.
yeah, she has
Yeah.
every room because it's a house, right? So she has every room in the house themed.
Yes.
So there is a library. This right now upstairs is the kitchen area. There's a sink, actual sink in that room or whatever, and she has it with all dishware and old cutting boards and retro kind of stuff. That's the dressing room. At least that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Is that me in the picture? And that is me over there on the left-hand side.
It is you.
Yeah.
And that is me. And so anyway, yeah, that is the toy room actually. That she has the toy room. So you can see in the background of all those pictures, she has retro toys. She has like very old Fisher Price things. She has very old things from the 60s and 70s. And there's stuff, if you go through it, even older than that, like antique toy cars and everything.
We'll go back to that pitch because I want to see what that guy's doing. So
He's doing an Estes.
Oh,
There's
he's
no-
doing Estes and drawing at the same time.
Where she has vintage clothing and vintage bolts of fabrics
And
hats and all sorts of fun and neat stuff. Like
I like place like this. It's always fun.
oh, you can get lost.
You can
can
get
lose
lost.
yourself. Every time I go in for an investigation, I get sidetracked from all the stuff, and I start shopping, and I have to.
Yeah.
That's funny. I did a
Totally.
in Long Island. There's a whole village of like antique stores. It's like a village out there. So I went out there. We did an investigation, and I'm inside one of the places, and they're closed. The owners are still there because they're letting us in and out of their stores. And I'm in there, and it's like next thing I know, that looks interesting. I bought like a statue of a dog.
Mhm.
It's a because my son has a, what do you call a dog? It's Australian Shepherd, and they look like collies. So I bought a thing of a collie. So I was like, yeah, it's like you go on an investigation. It's like next thing you know, it's like you're buying something. It's like, oh, come on.
Yeah, it happens. But let me tell you, nothing makes you feel older than going into like little shopping, going into like the Corningware thing and seeing the same Corningware your mother had. It's like,
Oh yeah.
God.
It's better when your mother had it. I owned half that Corningware, so it's like give away my age again. So we'll go
I
back.
like the
to
toys.
Yeah, the toys are
We
cute.
think that's it on the pictures of the location. Let me see
So-
what this is here.
The only other
Well, that's the
picture
same
we
one?
have is I believe we have a picture of Richard Moschella came with us, and he did spirit art drawings of who he saw there. And you mentioned a religious figure, and so that kind of goes around
Oh,
to
there's
what we
another
were
one.
talking about, the people there. Oh, it's
Correct.
beautiful, isn't it?
This is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very
should-
cool.
Section of
I love the bottles.
Mm-hmm. Of
Um,
glassware.
So pretty.
and,
That's nice. Pictures. I like those old pictures.
Mm-hmm.
I'm afraid to go to this place. I better go with an empty credit
You're gonna
card
love
or
it,
a pocket full of money.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Wow.
It's
I
easy,
want-
very easy to drop there.
I want to go back to the SC. Here it goes. How did the session go? He was drawing also.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
what we decided to do in that session is we actually had two people. We had Richard and actually Lee, and we decided instead of doing a traditional Estes method, because Richard does do the spirit art, we decided that we were going to have him draw at the same, as opposed to speak, draw what he saw. And then Lee was under the Estes, and he started talking about a portal, and he was doing, because Lee does the geometric figures, he started drawing in the air with his fingers all these things. He's like, it's like this, it's like this. So I shoved the paper and the pad in, the pad and the crayon-y thing in his hand, and they both drew the same sort of figures of a portal that
Wow.
without knowing each other, because they were in two separate rooms. So the rooms are next to each other, but they're separated.
And they're blindfolded.
And folded
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
crazy.
headphones, and they have white noise, going through. And we've theorized that there is some sort of I don't want to use the word portal, meaning things coming out from the outside in, but there is some sort of way that whatever's in the basement can make its way up to the top floor by going up through the center of the building.
Ooh,
Sort of portal that they can travel through.
a shortcut.
A shortcut. It's like having an elevator. Yeah. Mhm.
Shortcut through time.
It's like Clue, the game Clue. You can go
Right.
from the basement to the second floor to the conservatory,
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
It's
right?
yes.
Shortcut
Yeah.
to the kitchen.
Okay.
Yeah,
You got
that
some
was a
pictures
good
of the
session.
basement. You said there's
That was a
portal
good
down there?
session. That was a great session.
The
Yeah.
basement is a whole different story.
The basement's a whole
it's
different
got a
animal.
whole different-
Well, I'm going to put Richard on first. He did a session. I believe this is Richard. Nope, that's not Richard. Do we have a thing? Oh, I think Richard's a live thing, huh?
Richard did
Video?
drawings.
It's a drawing, but he's a video.
You may
Okay.
have his drawings.
All right. Let's do the basement and get some of the pictures out of the way, and then okay, here's the
Yeah.
basement.
Yeah.
K2 down there.
Mm-hmm.
That's my picture of a crawl space in the basement. It's not the basement. It's a crawl space in the back of the basement that we were investigating.
So the way that the basement is set up is there's a basement proper where it's mostly storage. And then, you know, one day nonchalantly, Laurel's just said, well, have you seen the crawl space? And we're like, what? And, you know, there's a crawl space.
What?
Yeah, what? And you go into the back and you open this little wooden door, and there's about 5 steps. And there's this crawl space, and it's only about 3 feet wide, if that, you know, but it goes back the length of a room. So I would say 12 feet. And so you really kind of have to scoot on your stomach to get there. And in that crawl space, there are stacked stones, almost like hiking markers. You know, on the left, and then there are stacked stones equidistant around the back of the crawl space.
So that's actually me. I'm the one who crawled in there. I crawled all the way in there, and I put that there. And I also I took more pictures. I know. She's like, thanks, Kimm, for crawling in there. Did you do that too?
What?
No, she was saying, I love that, Kimm, to the portal through time comments would be my guess.
Okay.
That was before.
Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to get some of the things on there.
Me, I'm the crazy one who went back there. I was because then
That's
I
the
see
paranormal
crawl
investigating.
space
It's
or
going to
an
the little
attic,
spaces.
I'm in there. So I crawled in there and I stayed in there for like 20 minutes, a half hour. And in fact, Gail was with me.
Yeah, I stood outside. You said, should I crawl in there? And I'm like, go for it,
girl.
Go for it. And she was with me, and we did a session in there, and that's my K2. But I did include pictures of the stones that you just mentioned. There is a picture of the stones that I sent.
There's some more basement pictures I want to show you.
So that's the stones.
That's the stones.
That's it. You can see the stones that are stacked there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we just left them because I didn't know what that was. So better to leave it.
Yeah, and just leave. Literally, leave, you know, we just left it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this in the back there is an addition. That's not original.
There you go.
Original to
to
the building of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the remaining mysteries is, when was this addition put on? And did it cover anything? Because it does seem like it's quite an active space. You guys have had quite a bit of evidence and stuff, and we've had quite a bit of experiences in the basement and a lot of evidence. So, but it is an addition. So yeah, we don't know when it happened, when the addition was put on, but there's that door in the basement that would have been original. Do we have a picture of the door too?
That long.
No,
that's not that old, because those are cinder blocks.
Right.
Foundation.
Right.
You know, if you had a really old building, we'd have those big blue rocks and stuff like that. But these are cinder blocks. Even with the cement that's put in there, it's grayish cement and all that stuff. And then you see all this other cement on the floor here, part of the foundation. So I wouldn't say that's that old. And if this piece of wood has any significance with that, you can see the nails are round-headed, not square-headed.
Right.
So there's a lot of significance with dates. So it's not original
so
the building,
the
but it's
house,
not old. Plus that big steel beam that goes down the cellar. Of course, the cellar that when Jennie crawled in and put the K2 there, that's not new.
No,
that's newer. That's newer.
Completely agree. Old. So the back of the building was where the hair salon was. That's where the chairs were, that would have been over top of where that's under. And that was going on since the 80s. So it's possible that this was built from the 80s on at this point.
Yeah, I would say that just by the material that's there, the foundation wise, even the wood slats that go across. Do you see how the slats on the top there? For the flooring.
Floor. It's newer.
That's a newer. You could even tell dated by the type of wood and stuff also.
Yep.
If you wanted to get an exact date. But I would say probably like when you said they redid it, or they had to reinforce it. That's another thing. Maybe the old floor was caving in too, and they had to reinforce it, and that's why they put the middle beam there and the different planks of wood across. So
yeah, good point.
Thank goodness. Yeah. Because we would have been crushed.
Yeah, right.
That wouldn't be a good thing to be crushed.
Kim, you mentioned a door. There's a gorgeous door that you go in through to get into that space. It's a big wooden door, and we will see it. I don't have a photo, but we will see it in the videos.
Cool, awesome.
Yeah.
In the middle of Sue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mirrors covered the right. Okay.
Well, mirrors could be a portal too. So you talk about
good point there, also, Anthony.
Good idea.
You have a lot of mirrors. We have portal. Okay, I want to show. Okay, I think I missed this one before. Oh no, that's one we got before.
You really like that one,
right?
I'm trying
That's
to go.
The basement.
Is that a black mirror? What's this?
Yeah,
it is. It's a scrying mirror. We brought a scrying mirror to the basement.
Okay.
Yeah. Richard made it.
Whose hand is that? Is that one of you guys' hands? Oh,
it's mine. Yeah, it's mine. Yeah, it's me.
Jennie, what are you doing? You got me all excited. I'm like, there's a hand coming out of the mirror. No, it's just me. Jennie did it.
That's me in the mirror.
Okay.
But we had good success with that.
Yeah, we did.
Very good success.
We had really good success with that scrying mirror.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be careful with scrying mirrors because you don't know what comes through half the time. And it will,
really?
I mean, I've used them many times in the past and I still use them. So,
yeah,
shows how bright I am. But I'll tell everybody else not to use it, but I'll use it.
Mm-hmm.
But, because I was a scrying mirror and my face totally changed. I got younger. I lost a beard and everything. I got younger. I had hair. I was always happy in that part. But, it just, you don't know if it's looking at you or becoming you. Or sometimes I get a little nervous with stuff like that,
Yeah.
Because I hate when spirits go in me and,
Yeah, that's unnerving.
Yeah.
Every time I do something stupid, the ghost made me do it. So that's I'm possessed. So.
But we did have
Jennie,
good results.
Yeah, you want to tell us what you saw in there? Because I think that ties in really nicely to the photos that Richard drew and then some of the history too.
That's true. Now I'm thinking, what did
remember?
I see in there? I remember seeing a bed. There was a bedroom. It was a bed. There was a well-dressed
woman, bedroom,
like with a bun and a bedroom, like tidying the room. It was very, very tidy. And she was very well dressed. I remember that.
Yeah.
But it was old, like early 1800s kind of thing, like really old.
How old's that building?
I remember that.
The only date I could find is 1900.
Sorry, 1900.
I don't know.
Sorry, 1900s. I meant like a Victorian woman type dress.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But the property goes back earlier. So that has not been officially confirmed, the date of when this house was built. But the only date I could find was 1900.
Right.
So,
we have a lot of videos from the basement if you want to stay in the basement.
That's why
or we can talk about the other people who are there.
I think the basement we'll see what happens in the basement since we started bringing up the basement. Okay.
Basement's good stuff.
Okay. they're not in any special order, so I'm just gonna play what
doesn't matter.
I have first, second, and third going down. Okay, here's one. What was I looking at?
What was that?
I don't remember.
Is that the box falling?
Could it
I think it's the box falling. Can you play it again?
Yeah, there's no audio to it, so here we go.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Box falling.
Okay. So
where was on the right side?
Yeah, in the back.
Yeah,
in the middle, in the
I
center,
see
in the
something
back.
move back there. Yes, I'll do it one more time.
center of the screen.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
one more
okay.
time.
You see it very quick. It's at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Anybody looking at it, look at the very. I'll do it one more time, and as soon as I
Very
do it,
beginning,
check. You'll see it go
right
down.
in the middle. There's a box that falls.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming
Is
this is
everybody
from
seeing that?
their security cameras.
Yeah, that's from her blink camera. A lot of the activity that we're there to witness it, but there's also equal activity, caught on her blink camera. It just started now. She has a huge amount, whether you believe in them or not, amount of orbs and light anomalies that happen. And they're just starting now to be seen with they turn on the lights. So she has motion sensors down there. And there's enough of them now, and some of them will turn on the motion sensor light when they do pass by. So
Right. And I included a
yeah.
video of that here.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about that box falling because when we were there, we had an object fall.
We did.
Live.
yes,
Kimm, you were closer to it. I'd love for you to tell it.
Yeah, I think I was right next to Kara. I
Or
think
you
we were
guys.
standing.
yeah, it was. You were on my. You were
Was
on my.
it?
He was on my. Lisa was on my right, and we had the cat ball, the EMF detector, the REM pod on the table, and then we had the REM pod on the stairs, and
Yeah.
we had a lot of activity with the EMF, the REM pod, and the cat ball on the table. And nobody was touching the table. We were all standing away from the table, and we would all kind of say, "Oh, there goes the cat ball. Oh, go there," just like that. Oh, there goes the cat ball. Oh,
Yes, I put a video of that in here just so everybody will get a chance to see that activity.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And so then the energy, whatever was causing that to react, it went cat ball or EMF, cat ball, REM pod. And then there was a REM pod on the stairs. The REM pod on the stairs goes off. And at the time we all looked to see the REM pod on the stairs go off, a bag of, I guess what you want to call it, like nylon fluff that goes into a pillow, popped off the shelf, and Lisa caught it. So
I caught it, but that's okay.
Oh, you caught it.
But Kimm caught it.
me.
Doesn't matter.
You caught it. And
You were like,
yes.
And it was like so
Like,
reflexive.
I'm sorry.
It was like so
The reflex.
reflexive. It was just like, and then I'm like, wait, what just happened? I was like,
Yeah.
did this just fall? I was like, what just happened?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it was
Crazy.
so if without being able to see the layout of the basement, the way that the electromagnetic field had to move was almost in a U shape to go up the stairs. So we were kind of like next to the stairs by this table. So in theory, if an electromagnetic field would have to come towards us, then loop around to go up the stairs, and had enough force to knock something off that shelf as it passed by in order to catch.
Yeah.
it was
There was
wild.
nobody on the stairs. We were all around the table, and it just kind of similar. It was on those shelvings, like in that video. It was on the shelving just a little bit further towards the stairs.
Correct.
It just
Everybody
came
was
right off.
area, nobody was around it. Jenny was in the
Nobody
hole.
around
No,
Yeah, Jenny was in the hole.
I was in the hole. It was like Alcatraz. I was in the
Yeah.
hole.
Yeah.
And and I heard, I heard all the commotion, but I mean, we were there a long time and we were very still. We were all sort of gathered around the table in the center, and
Right.
the thing pops off. I mean, and then you see the box, it did the same thing. So that's
Yeah,
very
same thing.
interesting that
Just popped.
very
I
interesting.
got 2 more videos on the basement. So
Well, I guess I
Yeah,
will
let's do it.
say that it was a very considerate spirit, because I'll take a little bag of cotton coming at
Yeah.
me.
Not a brick on your head.
And so when we're talking about like, is this, is it bad? Is it good? I'm like, well, that was considerate. They could have put a box or like anything else, and it was just the cotton. So I appreciated that.
Okay, here's the next one in the basement. I'm gonna play that
Okay,
again.
that's-
The orb.
That's what you were talking.
the light.
That's what I find interesting, that it's a sensor light that gets turned on, and
Right.
the orb turned on a light. So there
Yeah.
has to be some sort of something there to be able to turn on that light.
Right. Now, mind you that these videos, like the box even, and this were taken, they're with her blink camera at night when nobody's in the building.
Mhm.
Those are her nighttime security cameras. So it's not like somebody could be upstairs and disrupting the dust or anything like that. These are the ones that we've chosen, and we know that there's nobody in the building.
Yeah, because those
Good
cameras
point.
are usually set that when the light goes off, they go into night vision. During the day, they're just regular. You can see them like regular cameras. Then when the lights go off, they go into night vision. What I'm
That's
finding
right.
interesting about this one is that when that orb came down, it was night vision until it got closer to the camera. Then the camera automatically turned itself to day, which
Yeah.
was
It's
interesting.
reversed.
That's
Yeah.
not normally happen. It turned to day
And
because
you still
Right.
see the orb. And you still see the orb
you
in
still see the orb. Yes,
Yeah.
you're right on that. And the orb, you can see it comes by, and it's where it's coming by. It's a little more solid before it comes through by. You don't really see through it.
right.
You don't see through it, so
Correct.
it's not clear. So you don't see through it, and it comes across, which I find out is good piece of evidence. You know, because that's
Mhm.
a
Great
typical
piece of
orb.
evidence.
It's solid, and it's giving its own light source. So when it gave this low light source and the camera hit it, the camera automatically turned into day vision because the light source was performing its own light, which
Right.
was the orb.
Right.
The orb was giving
Correct.
its own light off.
Right.
So that's what I'm finding
Mhm.
interesting, and that's a good catch. To me, it's
It's
good.
large.
Not
Can we see
a
it
dust
again one more
particle.
time? It's
See what I'm saying?
good.
Yep.
Yeah, I
And it
do.
turns into a
I
day,
do.
and that doesn't do that normally.
No.
I
Right.
deal with a lot of those cameras because I have I have a couple dozen of those things
Yeah.
for
Me too.
investigations, and that's a good piece right there. I like that.
So
Mhm.
two other things I wanted to bring up about that is it's coming from the door on that left-hand
Yeah.
corner. So that's the door that's going underneath the crawl space,
Oh
which
wow!
is interesting. And
Yeah.
then also at the end of that video, you'll see the orb coming in front of it looks like some hose or hosing that's on the wall. And it actually is in front of it. And it's like an opaque color in front of it. I was like, that's cool.
That is
Like
cool.
it blocks it almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's
Which like a
a very
dust
good
you could
piece of
see right through.
evidence.
Correct.
Some people are not going to say, "Oh no, listen."
No, I mean it's
It
interesting. Let's put it that way.
It changed the camera to day motion. So when it went in front of the camera, it became day to the camera, and because I was giving its own light off. Normally, I would say because you hear the motors and all because you have ductwork there, and there's always flow of air going through ductwork, and it could be a draft somewhere down the basement or whatever. Especially if you have that door and it's coming to us from that door, I would say, but when it turned that camera, that's what made me say, wow.
Yeah.
Up to that point, I was like, this
I
could
agree.
be dust. But then when I got to that camera and changed the camera into day, the day mode on it, that's what
No,
like
it's
wow, that's
good.
pretty cool.
It's very good.
So here's another one.
We have a question from the
Go ahead.
audience. Did the activity increase since you started investigating the location?
Oh,
Yeah.
I've heard that before.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. We've seen an increase in activity. Nothing, nefarious, but we've seen that those orbs have now what the orb that you've seen just now in this footage is kind of like what we're seeing now. So they started out as like, say, a night vision camera, and we would just see them at night. But now they're turning on the light. There's a lot more of them. And one of them, I was in the basement with Laurel, and she actually saw it with her naked eye. And we actually, in some footage, I don't know if you have that, but we actually caught it. So she and I were having a discussion in the basement, and she said, "Did you see that flash of light?" And I wasn't paying attention because when I talk, I just talk. And I was like, no, I didn't. And she goes up, and you see in the video footage, she goes up to the where the chimney is, and she goes like this with her hand. She goes, "I saw it go like right this." And I said, "Well, let's go to the videotape," And so,
Yeah.
and we did.
Thank
and
goodness.
Yeah, and you could see a blink. It was just a flash of light go zing, like right across. And so now they're
Wow.
more prevalent. They're more visible to the naked eye. In terms of other types of activity, not so much. Just the electromagnetic energy is becoming more demonstrative.
Okay.
The location's starting to be known for activity, and they start seeing people coming investigate. So that might entice other spirits within the area
It
come.
could be.
Yeah, because now it's enticing because now they're investigating one location that nobody's been ever probably investigated till you guys got there.
Right.
And now
Right. Good
they're showing
point.
an interest in paranormal activity that now other spirits might be coming along and saying, "Hey, let's go hang out there." They acknowledge us,
Yeah.
and you might have just visitors coming in during
Yeah.
the times you're there. They might not be there all the time, but they might come in because is any graveyards nearby or any other like abandoned places that have no?
No.
Starbucks. Maybe the ghost of
Yeah, we
Starbucks.
often Starbucks is there.
Starbucks. I know.
Well,
Starbucks.
I mean, what is interesting is, and I'm going to actually go to a map for this because I think this will help give us a little bit
Perfect.
and maybe a little more info of maybe
Yeah, and
why
I
there
was
are more
joking. There,
spirits that
yeah,
might be
Okay.
coming
there is
in.
there is
Which map?
interesting something interesting.
I got
here.
it. I'll pull it up.
You got it?
Got
Okay.
a map.
Ooh, going too fast here. Where'd we go? Too fast. Do. So many things. There we are. There we are. Okay, so I'm going to show this 1887 map. So this means nothing to most of us, but this is Diamond Spring Road here. It didn't have the name back then. It was just called the Road to Booton, really.
Old road to Booton.
Literally in the deeds, it's just called the Road to Booton. And so I've been doing a lot of research to try and place this building. Where is this? Because we had previously thought that it was the parsonage. And there is this parsonage over here, the Methodist Church parsonage next to the John Hinchman property. And John Hinchman actually donated the land to the parsonage. So this makes sense. So this would be where the parsonage is. But our building is actually like in this area, right next to a school. So there was a school that was right next door, which would have been right next door to the Methodist Church. So a lot of activity right next door. I mean, kids, children, religious and religious goers right next door. And this would be where our structure, I believe, is where our structure, but it's not on this map yet because
Which one is that? Because you can't see it if you're doing it with the arrow. We don't see it on
Yeah.
here.
Oh, I'm
So
sorry.
you
Right
gotta
next to the
mention it.
school, it says R. Reed. There's like this weird structure building. There's a space, and then there's a school number 1.
Yeah.
Or
we see the
sorry, number 11. It's number
Yeah.
11.
Yes, we see it.
So
Okay.
where?
We're
Sorry,
by
what?
B. Reed.
Oh,
So
Sorry, what?
We're by B.
no, we see
Reed.
it. R. Reed.
Reed.
Yep. B. Reed. So it's in
B. Reed.
between B. Reed
B.
and the
Reed.
school. So the
Okay.
school was to the right of it, and then the Methodist Church was right next to the school.
Okay.
Okay.
So quite
So
a bit
there you
of
can still see a
activity
church
likely nearby.
behind it. There's still a church there.
Correct. There's
Yes.
a church.
Yeah.
And this now
We-
where the school is a parking lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's 87. So 13 years later they built that locate
Yeah.
that building. Because you can see there's a space there that they probably sold the land
Yes.
and
Yes.
they probably sold the building. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah.
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 Great find, Kim.
And do we have any pictures that what Richard drew? Because
Yes,
We
Um,
do.
I got the
yeah,
pictures of
let's
Richard Jewell.
pull-
They're in there.
Yeah, I sent them over.
Yeah,
I,
you see them,
Richard's
Kim?
drawings
It's
of
IM
the
G
people, the spirits in
5575
the show.
image
Okay.
70. Yeah, let me put it on. You want it? Yeah, I'll put it up. There it
okay,
goes.
I think
There
there's
you
a
go.
delay. Yeah, okay, perfect. So we had there's you guys have also Kara and Gail. I keep wanting to combine your names into like
Yes.
Gara.
It's like
Gara,
Kim Yang.
Kale.
Or Kale. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I called them Gara and Kale once. I did.
So forgive me. But yeah, so what we were really experiencing together, and I think what you guys have also picked up on, is there is this kind of gentleman here
Correct.
with this pointy nose, with
Correct.
glasses, and he has a religious, and I felt him too, a religious connotation to him, very stern.
Yes.
We saw him in the scrying mirror. One of us saw him in the scrying mirror, and quite a few of the mediums were experiencing him. Now,
True.
this structure, from my own research, isn't the parsonage, but B. Reed was a reverend, and he owned that land.
Right.
And
Oh.
That's
he
interesting.
sold that land in 1893.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I'm wondering if we're experiencing him there, or if not, could still be connected to the Methodist Church, which isn't, very far to the side either. But I
it's
thought that was
true.
really interesting. I mean, it's not every day you do research and find like an actual reverend did own that land.
What I find interesting on the picture, you can see the rosaries he drew,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
he did draw a bottle and a cross. That looks like
Yeah.
a tombstone to me. So you think he might be buried on that property somewhere?
Oh, it's true. It looks like there's something
No,
under
No,
the
he
cross.
died. No, he died. No, he didn't die there. He died somewhere else. He died in Newark or
Okay.
Morristown, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Okay.
But he did have 3 sons. All of them, well, one of them, we don't know when he died. Could have been a year, 2 years. He could have lived to adult age. I don't know yet. And then 2 other sons that died in their 30s and 20s. And one of them was a doctor. And the doctor did practice out of Denville. So we were also kind of getting this like healing feeling there too, of like people coming in who are sick.
Right.
And so I don't know, but I wonder if that could be related.
Right.
That's true. One of the mediums said that people would come there to be healed. Now that could be a church or that could be a doctor.
Correct.
Hey, Jen, didn't you say you
Depending on
seen
how
a
you
woman?
interpret that.
You seen a woman from the early 1800s with a bun on the head?
Early 1900s, right? Like think Mary Poppins. You know?
But you just sent the picture that he drew. It looks like what you described.
That's true. She did. Or that could be Minnie. Do we have a picture of Minnie that looks like that or no?
I have pictures of Minnie. I don't know if I can share them, but on like from here. But
no, it's no problem.
But she sort of does. She does what she has gray. She has gray hair that she wore up in a bun. She did.
Oh well. That's good.
So it could be her. Unfortunately, in terms of the period clothing, like the only pictures I have of her are when she's elderly and she's like, it was like maybe.
Oh, right.
I don't have any young pictures of her.
Right, and also hair like that.
I have
up
a
in
young
bun. That
picture
doesn't
of
narrow
her,
it down.
but not like that age.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it could be anybody. And then, is this a boy in another picture? That last picture, I can't tell.
Yes,
okay.
The young boy is another impression that people get when they are on the first floor of that building. When you first walk in the door, Many people, feel like the brushing up against, like, like a kid, if he was like running by and he would like push you in
Yep.
to get, many people get
Yep.
that sensation and attach the presence of a child to it. So we haven't, I don't think we have, right, Kim? We haven't been able to place a child there.
No,
but
not yet.
yeah, but given the fact that it was a toy store, and another interesting kind of thing to note is that it is a little boy, and Laurel has this little piano in, like you would play it, it goes clink clink clink, but it's older. It's like the Fisher Price one. It's made of wood, and it seems that every time I've been there, a little boy is attracted to that little piano, and they go and play it. And the reason that it sticks out in my mind that that's happening is because where that little piano was placed was like off to the side. So you would have to step over the child to get to the other end. And we were, we would have to, say, can you play with that over here, please? So people could get by. So it's very interesting that there's that connection there of this little boy presence, and that, the little, it's always little boys that come in there and play with that little thing.
With the piano.
That's so cool. That's really cool.
I have a feeling this little boy, is there any kind of puppets or the old?
Yeah, there are puppets there.
All right, that I feel that he's attached to one of those puppets, and I feel the puppet has the same type of hat on that he has on.
And there are puppets there that do that. Yes, there she has marionettes.
The marionettes, that's what I mean. Because to me, it looks like a puppet of a marionette that kind of looks like that child with that hat.
Yeah, she's got.
That's adorable.
She just. I was there when she sold two, just the other day. But
maybe the child went with them.
Yeah, there's still more there. Like they almost look like the old.
That's interesting.
The child, hey guys.
Now the child though is somewhere else now. Don't worry about him no more. No, you sold him. Yeah.
I love it. So I actually have I don't have a lot of ghost stories because you know me, I don't notice anything. Like Kim's like, there's this, and I'm like, oh really? But hey, 305 in the house. I have two ghost stories from this place, unbelievably. And one of them is not really a story. One of them is just that when I first got there, I saw something run around the circle by the first floor, by the across from the counter. I saw something like a child, like running. You see movement through the reflective surfaces, and it looked little, and I thought, okay, is there a dog in here? Like I literally thought, well, does she have a dog? Like you would notice a dog running around kind of thing. And then you said there's a little boy who runs around, and I thought, I just saw that. Hard to explain how you see movement, but as an investigator, you all know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
True. And it's
and I'll
funny.
Save my other ghost story for the first floor for later, but go ahead.
But it's funny that you said that about the reflective, like you see things run through, the reflective between the amount of mirrors and the curios and the glass. We seem to get a lot of that kind of imagery through those things when we're there. Even the one capture that we have that looks like a person moving, behind, it's through a curio. It's through a curio cabinet through the glass. So it's very interesting. And Laurel was right. The place was mirrored from top to bottom. And actually, a lot of the mirrored stuff was removed. So there's only mirroring on the one back room, but that whole first floor used to be mirrored. The entire first floor.
Wow. Intense.
But you find yourself going, whoa, what was that? Like whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something just ran around, kind of thing. Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
That could be part of the portal also.
Yeah.
So
we never got back to any of the videos. I think you have
we
one
got some videos. I know it's getting late.
Yeah, I'm just trying to stay in the
We're back to the basement.
Yeah, one more in the.
I don't know if it would be
Where?
You said you saw a shiny thing go back and forth.
Yeah, it was just this like little light. It went this way and then went that way.
I wonder if it would be on the camera.
No. Oh, you mean here?
Yeah.
Well, it might be. Let's go up. I'll tell him, please. He's not going to come in here today, right?
No.
Did you catch it
So
on
that's
camera?
what you were talking about
That's
before
the one that I was
when
talking
she
about,
saw it live.
where she saw it live, and she said, "Did you see that?" And I said no, and she goes up and she actually tracks it with her hand on where she sees it on that back piece.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you want to play it again if people missed
And
it.
there's no windows in that basement.
No, there's no
No.
completely underground.
Right.
I'm gonna
Right.
try it
I
again.
know. I know. It's crazy.
There's, I don't know if it would be on the camera, but I don't know if the shiny thing you saw would be there.
Where?
You said you saw a shiny thing go back and forth.
Yeah, it was just this like little light. It went this way and then went that way.
I wonder if it would be on the camera.
No. Oh, you mean here?
Yeah.
Well, it might be. Let's go up. I'll tell him, please. He's not going to come in here today, right?
No.
I want to play that
Okay.
one more time because I did see a little light shoot from there to the left at the very, very beginning of it.
Yes,
It is the very
it
beginning.
is the
It's
very
like
very.
that.
It's
Very beginning. I seen a little something metallic shoot
Okay.
across.
correct.
So you see it from like
Yep.
the center,
Yep.
and it shoots towards the left.
Yes.
Okay, here we go
Yeah.
again.
There's, I don't know if it would be on the camera, but I don't know if the shiny thing you saw would be there.
Where?
You said you saw a shiny thing go back and forth.
Yeah, it was just this like little light. It went this way and then went that way.
I wonder if it would be on the camera.
No. Oh, you mean here?
Yeah.
Well, it might be. Let's go up. I'll tell him, please. He's not going to come in here today, right?
No.
I'm
Okay.
gonna play it one more time. I think
saw
I
a
seen
different
something
one.
else.
I saw another one just before it gets to my name on the screen above it. When she starts to walk back to show you where it
Yeah.
is, look
Mhm.
up top by the ductwork. You'll see it.
Yeah,
go across.
that's I seen that too. Something when you're saying there's something there by the ductwork, something
Yep.
shoots along the ductwork
Yep.
towards where she was standing.
A light.
One
Yep.
more time.
As she starts to walk over.
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
There's, I don't know if it would be on the camera, but I don't know if the shiny thing you saw would be there.
Where?
You said you saw a shiny thing go back and forth.
Yeah, it was just this like little light. It went this way and then went that way.
I wonder if it would be on the camera.
No. Oh, you mean here?
Yeah.
Well, it might be. Let's go up. I'll tell him, please.
Did you guys see that?
Yeah,
Yes,
we missed
I
that.
did.
I didn't see that. I
Because
didn't.
what's interesting
Yeah.
about that, that's the same pattern of the first one we seen that turned the light on
Right.
in the dark. That's the same pattern of flight of the one from the original one that we seen before within the basement with the light,
When it
with
turned,
the one that turned on
Yeah.
the light.
yeah.
That's interesting.
So yeah. So when
Very
we're
cool.
Kim, you saw
Yeah,
it?
so there's
good.
there's two things. So there's the one that goes up,
Yep.
and then there's the one where Laurel's
Under
pointing
it.
after, which I don't know if it's what she actually saw because it happens right before she goes to talk about it. It's a
Mhm.
little light
Yes.
that goes like this.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's
That's
two
what I
actual
saw
things.
first.
Right.
Actually, the one along the ductwork that everybody is now seeing, right? If you look right underneath the ductwork, I also see a little orb going across,
Oh,
like
okay.
this to the, well, I guess to the right. You know, we're watching the one
You
on
want to
top,
do it one
but
more
there's a
time?
tiny one that goes across.
Tiny
Could be
one.
dust.
Yeah, here we go.
So I see
There's,
through.
I don't know if it would be on the camera, but I don't know if the shiny thing you saw would be there.
Where?
You said you saw a shiny thing go back and forth.
Yeah, it was just this like little light. It went this way and then went that way.
I wonder if it would be on the camera.
No. Oh, you mean here?
Yeah.
Well, it might be. Let's go up. I'll tell him, please. He's not going to come in here.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Very.
I mean, you
Okay.
got a couple of things going
Now
on
that
there.
we're seeing it, I saw I saw quite a bit up there
Yeah.
now that we were looking. I was like, oh, that's one. I'm like, oh,
I would say
that one.
normally dust, but it's the same pattern as the original one.
Yep.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, and at that
Yeah.
time, I was at there was nobody at the store. The store was closed. I had gone there. We were going to dinner, and so the store was closed. And that was the same time frame of when the box fell. So I went down into the basement to look to see about where the box was, where it was, to take a picture of where the box was and all that other kind of stuff. And we were down there discussing that when that happened.
Interesting.
Right.
We're going to be running out of time, so I want to show the last couple
we gotta
videos.
keep going.
Okay.
Yeah, we got some good ones.
Can you maybe come a little closer to me? Can you come closer? I know you can wave, but can you come closer? Gone.
It's gone.
Oh,
Oh wait, it's back. Oh, gone. Wow. Can't wait to show.
That's pretty cool.
Yep, that's our one SLS capture that we've gotten there that we can explain. Like sometimes, like we did it in the yard and we caught like a shadow and all that stuff. So but that's the one that we couldn't
debunk. Because
debunk.
a lot of times, the SLX camera is notorious for mapping stuff. Pretty much, chairs,
Right.
Anything, yes.
person shape. That particular, there wasn't anything there that I thought it should be mapping, and then I tried to create it and we couldn't.
We like reflective surfaces and all that stuff. You might even be picking up your own shadow.
Right.
But this was pretty close because you were further away and it's kind of dim in the room.
Yes.
No way your shadow was going to go over there because there was things in the way.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Here's another one.
exactly.
No, that is somebody.
Is there someone here?
Somebody came in after us through the back. Okay.
Well, I just went back in there because I didn't get to go up the stairs yet, and I felt something, and then I just walked away.
It was like so staticky in there. I was like, why am I
It's very
like?
charged.
Do we want to
Very
try like
charged.
sound? Like try to get like voice that we can
Yeah,
add?
let's try.
Let's
Like
try
do an
voice.
EVP.
I want to
We
do
were back there.
EVP or a device.
EVP.
I see Kyle.
Yeah, no, not Kyle. Not Kyle.
Wasn't Kyle? I just see the bottom,
No,
like, it wasn't
I
Kyle
know.
there?
Somebody
No,
with a camera, you
it
think
was
it's Kyle.
another gentleman filming, but no, not Kyle.
Okay, because I seen like the cut off and stuff. So,
No.
like, is that Kyle?
Yeah, but we were talking about all the activity down there with the REM pods, with the cat balls on the table.
Yeah.
And you can hear Kimm I think me saying when I said, like, did somebody hit it or something? And Kim's like, no, I feel like something followed us down,
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So we had just a lot of equipment going off down there. Holy cow.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff going on. Yeah, you can hear everything.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, here's an EVP. Is this yours, Jenny?
Yeah. I
Here's
put
an
two
EVP.
in. I have a lot more.
All right.
This is Richard. I was in the basement crawl space and I was curious to know who was in there with me and affected me. Who are you?
We don't want you.
You got to turn up your, remember,
Yeah.
StreamYard, you got to make it really loud. If anybody's listening,
Yeah,
turn
we can't
up
do
your
it here. You
computer,
guys have to
turn
do
up
it.
your phone.
Make it loud.
And listen, if you didn't hear it that time,
Okay,
make it loud.
We'll
Try
do it again. Make everybody in the audience, if you were listening, just make
This
that
is Richard
part
in the
louder.
crawl space.
So it's pretty cool.
On a
Here-
DR60.
Yeah.
It's a DR60. Yeah, that's one of the best ones out there, the Panasonic.
Mhm.
Here we go.
This is Richard. I was in the basement crawl space and I was curious to know who was in there with me and affected me. Who are you?
We don't want you here.
You guys hear it? We don't want you here.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Hear that?
Now, interestingly, it seemed like they didn't because Richard felt that same way, that he wasn't really wanted in there.
Mhm.
In that space, yeah.
Yeah, in that crawl space. You know,
Okay,
And-
we're
very
gonna do.
affected by it.
My
So,
own personal view of like crawl spaces and attics, a lot of people are always like, oh, spirits are in the attic, spirits are in the basement. And my experience with spirits, honestly, is they'll tend to go to the quieter places. Not all of them. Some really like to interact. But most of them, they kind of want to be away from the activity, away from the people. So they will actually go to those quiet spaces. So it's interesting that when we did go in there, we started getting that pushback of like, we don't want you in here. Yeah.
Right. Big time. Yeah, big time. Yeah. Yeah, definitely did not get the feeling he was welcome in there. Whereas I was like, la la la, I'm laying here in a crawl space because I don't feel it.
That's what we do.
Oh, the creepy box in the front. It's hilarious. So that is mine. That's mine. It's the Freddy Krueger box. I think she's talking about the chaos box.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's mine. It's just an AM chaos box made by, shout out to Halte Paranormal. Yeah,
Is that
it's just
Katie
a spirit
or
box.
is that Katie?
Katie,
She made
yeah.
that one. Because they make Katie makes boxes and Steve makes boxes. So
they're beautiful. Yeah.
I
love
got
that one, Freddy
too.
Krueger.
So let's. Do we have any more evidence?
Yeah, we have another EVP. We have another EVP.
Okay, I got the 5. Okay, here we go.
In the
rolling. What is your name?
Get out.
You can really hear that.
Do one more time.
Starts out a little, but then you hear out.
Hi, this is rolling. What is your name?
Get out.
Yeah.
So they didn't want you to. They didn't want you there.
not a
They said,
friendly
no, it's too late. I want to go to bed. Why are you guys here? They want to rest too.
If you've never heard Get Out, are you really an investigator? It happens everywhere you go.
Absolutely.
It's better than them saying get out than them pushing you out. So
true.
Someday I'm going to count how many EVPs I have that say Get Out. It's got to be over 30, 40. More.
I should put the ones that the ones that curse at me.
Get out of here. Yeah, get the F out. Get out of here.
Yeah, well, that didn't.
Yeah. And you know what? I never read into it. Never. I mean, it could be get out. It's dangerous. We talked about that on a show before. It used to be a print shop, one of the places we were talking about. It's like, hey, get out of here. You shouldn't be here. Right. It was a school. Get out of here. What are you doing here?
Right.
So I try not to read into it, but it just seemed like, no, we didn't want to be down there in that crawl space.
No. Kim, you have a couple more maps in there. Do you want to share those?
No, that's all right. No, that was good. That was all I wanted to use.
Okay. Thanks for showing up tonight. Good night.
Kim's done. Bye, Kim.
Kim's done. She's going home.
Kim out.
Out of here. I'm out of here. That's it.
But yeah.
Get out,
so,
Kim.
It is interesting. For me personally, I always really like to anchor a lot of what we're experiencing, trying to see if we can. I mean, you can't always, but with an antique store that had a school next door, a church next door, with all of these items and a low-key open door policy for spirit, it's probably going to be difficult. If not, the evidence is going to have to happen on top of one another, on top of one another, on top of one another for us to really begin to piece out who's here.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, when you have a place like that, you're going to get activity. Overall, I mean, Kim, how do you feel about this place? You go there. What would you read this place? What you feel about it more than Paranormal Lasagna as activity?
Yeah. I mean, I felt the religious man. There is a religious man. He's stern. He follows you around. He's not happy. He's not great. I felt that Victorian woman also, but she's just kind of there. She doesn't really do much, and the boy as well. But it's interesting because it's hard for me, and I imagine for many mediums and psychics, when you walk into a place with all of those items, it can be muddy. The energy can be very muddy, murky, and it's almost like you have to like swim through the soup, the energetic soup, to actually who is coming forward, who is interacting with me today. Like, yeah, so it can be challenging.
This is interesting.
In the energy soup.
Kim's always bringing up paranormal. I mean, Jenny's bringing up paranormal lasagna. Now you're calling it psychic soup.
Psychic soup. Energy soup.
Energy, timeline soup.
Soup and paranormal lasagna. We always refer the paranormal back to food. And I always got the cannoli. So it's like, you ever notice that? We always refer back to the food.
That's right.
I'm fine with that. There is no problem.
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Don't want to forget to tell my story, my ghost story.
Oh yes,
I have so few.
Story time.
Can I please?
Tell your story.
So we were in the attic, and by the way, we had a couple of good EVPs in the attic that I didn't show tonight. Just we don't have all that time, and I wanted to highlight you guys tonight. But I did get some good EVPs in the attic, especially to Kara's questions. She seemed to get the most response up there. But also, interestingly, just for your guys' information, there was just talking all the time on my recorder upstairs in the attic. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't always answering you. It was just talking over us. Mm-hmm. Just talking, even when we were talking to each other. I turned it on for a while, and it was just talking the whole time. Just talking up there. Not the other places, but up in the attic. There was just talking the whole time. But everybody was upstairs working, and I went downstairs to get a battery onto the first floor where the counter is, right? Where you'd pay, I guess, right? Is that a good way to put it? Mm-hmm. So a glass counter where you'd pay, where we came in and left our stuff. So I came downstairs and I was getting a battery, and I heard a loud phone ring, like an old fashioned phone on the wall. That's the best way to put it. Phone on the wall ringing, ring, like that, not a cell phone, phone on the wall, an old phone. And it was like 3, 4 rings out loud, 4, 5 rings, stopped, maybe 4 or 5, and stopped. And I said to myself, oh, I got to go tell Laurel somebody's calling her shop. Maybe they just want the hours. I'm thinking she has a recording, we're closed right now. Come back, tomorrow at whatever time. Like every shop has a phone, right? So I go upstairs and I say, Laurel, your phone rang and somebody's calling your shop, just in case you needed to know where they leave a message. And she said, I don't have a phone. There's no phone. Mm-hmm. And it took me a second. I was like, but your phone rang. Your phone rang downstairs. I heard your phone ringing. Like it wasn't a cell phone. And then I asked everybody, do you have a cell phone down there that's set to ring like an old fashioned phone, like a rotary phone, which I thought was kind of cute for the shop, now that I thought about it. I went, oh, that's kind of cute. You got a real phone on the wall. And everybody said no. But I heard it ring as loud as I'm talking right now. Ring, wow. Ring, ring. And so I thought, well, that's not right? Because you know me. I went outside. I listened. I mean, you really couldn't hear. I can tell when my neighbor's phone is ringing. I can hear it on the wind sometimes. But it wasn't like, the wall shaking old phones. Yes. They would like startle you in the middle of the night kind of phones. It was like good 4 rings. And I said, I have nothing. And then she said, oh, you know what? And she took me downstairs and took me to a stack of old phones that I guess that she had just gotten in. And of course, I was like, my blood ran cold. You know what I'm talking about? There was like a bunch of rotary phones in the back. And that was on that floor. Yep. And I went, I wonder if it was something residual. But I'm telling you, it was as loud as my phone ringing on the wall right now.
That's like crazy. Really loud.
That's wild. You should answer this.
I have nothing.
Will you take this long distance call from heaven?
Yeah. I have no idea. Because when you think, oh, I better tell Laurel the phone's ringing, you're not really like, oh, what is that weird phone ringing? Just like, oh, someone's calling the shop. Right. Like it's nothing. Right. So you heard it. I didn't imagine it. Yeah, crazy.
Some of the best paranormal
I've ever had
stuff is like when it's so real that you're like, it's just so real. You're
Yeah.
like, no, I know what I
Right.
heard.
Yes.
Right.
My only
Love it.
apparition was like that. It was a person
Yeah.
Yeah.
who suddenly wasn't in the elevator anymore. Yes, exactly. Like
Yeah.
what? Yeah, exactly.
I was at Mid-O and I was doing an event, and somebody wanted to take pictures, and I said, no, there's somebody that just walked in the door. I have to go make sure they know where they're going. And somebody came out from over there, from where the door was, and they were like, I was like, did you check them in? And they were like, oh, nobody's there. I was like,
Oh.
Okay, but it's plain.
Wow.
Yeah, that moment when they say, wait, no one's there. There's no phone.
one's there, but it's plain as day. I saw a person. It's the best because you think it's like, a normal activity,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can top that.
Oh, here we go.
Conjuring House. I was doing an event
twice.
and people were, I was helping guide people to where they could park. And I looked down and saw a calico cat. I mean, I saw the color. I saw it was quite plainly a calico cat. I even said out loud, kitty. So I'm all set to pet the cat. And I turned around just very quickly to make sure that people were going where they were supposed to. So it was like this, turn back, no cat.
Mm.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
That
Like
was
real as day.
Love it.
Right. It's when you notice the details. Like you said, it's the details that get you. Like like the old fashioned ring and the, whatever, and the calico. The specificity of it.
It was plain as day a calico cat. I looked right at it.
Yep.
Now, someone asked earlier in the show if you ever saw animals in the shop.
No.
In the comments, I saw that.
We did get a heat signature in the attic on the thermal cam of a horse head. However, I'm sorry. What?
Just said,
She said,
Oh,
I think she said,
The horse head. She was like, "What happened to my horse?"
No.
Horse what?
It's not a Godfather movie, is it?
Well, we were told that when they're back in with the farms or whatever,
yes, Jenny.
They buried the horses, under in the yard. So we're not quite sure if there are horses buried in the plot of land that's in the back there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some place
Which
you
is
go
why
to,
we need ground
bury 'em
penetrating radar.
Yeah, it was a farmer one time where they bury the animals that pass, and could be horses, cows, whatever they had.
Right.
I've been to locations like that, and they have like area where they just put the animal. Matter of fact, my friend in Queens years ago, he had a garage. He has his house behind his garage was like a little piece of land, and so he figured I'll go back there because it's very limited where you put plants and stuff. So he's trying to grow a garden. He started digging, found bones. So he's a cop. So he called the cops and they checked it out, and it was horse bones, and they found out that he started to think that's where the farm in that area buried their animals.
Right.
So that was crazy. So that's cool. We got a little
Thanks,
bit.
guys.
Yeah.
No, but I want to talk about what you're doing, and I want to talk about what's going on for you in the future and stuff, because you have a bunch of things to discuss.
Okay, so the first thing is we have a book coming out at probably at the beginning of February. We're hoping. Do you want to title?
You go.
Okay, actually, what's our working title? I don't know if it's going to be this.
Oh, the working title is Out of Darkness into the Light, and that we were given the soft date of end of January, maybe end of February, and it's really like life lessons that we took away from going to all these places. Not so much the haunt of it; it's not the boo factor, but it's more
what we learned and what that experience taught us, both as paranormal investigators and as human beings.
Right. So it touches on a lot of grief and love and loss, and how we interrelate and engage with each other as people in the human experience, learned through the passing of others in the past. And then then our second book is called The Pen and the Planchette. We don't have a date for that one yet, but we did sign the contract. And so what we did is, one of the events that we did this past holiday season is we did a Dickens-based event, and we based the Charles Dickens, A Christmas Carol, on a 3-card tarot pull. And we went into the spiritualism of the holiday and spiritualism as a whole. And what we found was that in that era of the Victorian era, that many of the authors, their writing experiences were affected by the spiritualism movement, whether it was, affected because they were spiritualists or they were, chronic debunkers. So what we did is we did a deep dive into some of the authors of that time. And we wrote a book about how, the spiritualism affected their writings. So it'll go into
very nice
and all those other, other authors of the time. Yeah.
Also, tell us about the show you guys are going to have.
I'm sorry?
The show that you guys are going to have.
Not the show. Yeah, they just, it's on Discovery.
You just recorded the show.
Discovery.
You want to make sure everybody sees that too.
Oh yeah. So
let's say that again.
Actually, I don't know if you can go back on stream. It was already released on Haunt TV, which you could get on YouTube and like Samsung Channel and some of the other streaming channels. You can get it on. I think you could get it on Sling. I'm not quite sure. I'm thinking about it, but anyway, so it was already released up there in the Canadian and on those streaming channels.
It's a Canadian channel.
Yeah. And around the Halloween season. So I don't know if you could get it on demand, but it should be being released in this coming spring. It's called My Haunted Hometown. And what the producers did is that they went around some parts of Canada and the United States, and they found hauntings that were based on the town that the people lived in. So not so much that the house was haunted, but the house had residual energy because of where it was located. So for example, our house is located a mile away from, Overbrook Asylum.
Good.
So, and that's
very interesting.
They're putting the tie into more of a legacy of haunting and a culture of haunting, as opposed to like a specific thing.
Right.
You guys, anything coming up? Any speaking events? Any other tours?
We are going to be speaking and doing a benefit ghost investigation for I Heart Horror in Sayreville on February 1st. It's on Groundhogzilla Day. And the building is an old school, and supposedly the top floor is extremely haunted. So we have the entire top floor to investigate and speak about ghost hunting to anyone who wants to listen, and bring people through that top floor, and all the proceeds and ticket sales for the event, because it's a very big event, go to the Deborah Foundation.
Very nice.
Awesome. Anything else?
Nice.
Anything else? Follow us on social media for when we're going to be doing our next lectures. We're going to be doing from that one book that we did with the authors. We curated.
We're going to do a whole lecture series.
We're going to be doing a lecture series at Times 10 Cup. So we're going to have a lot of stuff going on there, and that's really what we have on our plate for now.
That's good.
Now, we met you last year.
You have a YouTube channel or something?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm going to put your channel down.
Yeah, we're on Insta, Facebook, and TikTok.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Anymore, I don't know. So we have to see.
9 Lives Paranormal.
Yes,
we'll find you there.
I definitely find you.
And now I have to ask, because we met you at a wonderful new event called The Hollow last year. Are we planning on that again?
We are planning on doing another Hollow. I actually just put in a proposal to do it again at the same location.
Trying to do it.
Yeah, and I'm waiting to hear back. The Elks Club, that would be at the Boot and Elks, which is also another haunted venue.
Love it.
So yes, so we put in the proposal. For that. So they have their meetings on Thursday night. So hopefully I'll hear back after this Thursday.
That'd be awesome. That'd be great to be there.
I can do my heart.
I'd love to go back.
I'm not working tonight.
No?
I know, I can't do it tonight. I don't know why.
Why?
Yeah, it's weird. No, I mean, typically when I do it, because I'm on my iPad, hearts come out of it.
Oh,
Or if I do this, like the thumbs up comes up, or fireworks if I say wow.
oh,
It's
Yeah.
not.
I know. I don't know why it's not working tonight. Oh, come on. Anyway.
All right. We're getting to the end now, so I just want to thank you guys for coming on. It was great. We had a great show. People in the audience loved it. We had a nice turnout tonight.
They
People
did.
coming on. If everybody in the audience liked its show, hit hit hearts, hit something.
Definitely
Give
hit
us
like.
a couple, because you could subscribe to also Earth Radio. That'd be nice to get because we're trying to get. All we need 17 more to make 1,000. So
Nice.
Yeah.
subscribe. Just get us in there. 17 more people, and we hit
ERR.
1,000. So please do that.
Yeah, it's ERRT Radio. ERRT.
And I want to thank everybody in the audience for coming out tonight. We had a great group of people out there tonight. Chris Cesare and everybody. I mean, wow. I like Chris. I mean, every time I see him, like, hey, Chris. So
everybody likes Chris.
Good group. It was a good group of people that showed up tonight. The Cocos and Mary Beth's always with us every week.
Our most faithful viewer.
So yeah, I mean it's
Melissa, Jennie,
and Melissa Blackman. Melissa
Blackman, another one. Yes. So I just want to thank everybody for showing up, and we got to tell my end of my thing. Hey, I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure everybody knows in California it's burning bad. There's a lot of people, they need help. If you guys could send some kind of help or anything to them, it'd be most appreciated because they're being forgotten. So please help California out. If anything, you could donate money or send stuff to them. Please, they're in trouble right now. And also, I just want to say tonight is the Wolf Moon. So I had to wear my wolf shirt because my spirit animal is a wolf. And I'm going to stop talking. How many? Okay, we've got 3 minutes. I just want to make sure everything's done. Gonyak, thank you, Gonyak. Gonyak was in there? I didn't see Ron and Lotus.
If you're talking,
yeah, they were.
If you're talking about the Wolf Moon, I'll leave you with this from the original Wolfman movie. Even a man who's pure of heart and says his prayers by night can become a wolf when the wolfbane blooms and the moon is full and bright.
Oh, that's awesome. I like that.
Excellent.
That is very cool.
Yeah. Cool. You heard it here,
you just made Anthony's heart like explode.
You have no idea.
Very cool. I like that.
You have no idea. He's now in love with you.
Yeah.
Cool. You got the wolves, hey. The lichens. So okay, I just want to say, everybody, we're gonna have to be safe out there. If you're going to investigation, be safe. You want to look for ghosts, not be a ghost. I just want to say, forget about it, eh? Don't forget the cannolis in the next investigation. All right.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Bye,
Thanks
everyone.
for coming.
Thank you.